What's going on, everyone? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for Nick and I, my weekly comic book review show. Let's get into the books I read this week. Starting over in Marvel, we have the Ultimates issue number 11. This book was insane. It took me a couple of reads to really unpack everything that's going on inside of here, but if you want to know what Thor and Sif have been up to and what they're doing right now as this new power couple, man, this is the issue for you. Fills in all the gaps about what's happening in Asgard right now, what Loki's been doing, how he got to power, how he's treating everybody else in Asgard right now, and the different realms around him, what kind of hold he has on them. It unpacks all of that in here in a very poetic, beautiful way. So like I mentioned, we touch base with a lot of different realms in this story here. Thor going around trying to figure out what to do about this and understanding what kind of grip Loki has on these people, devising a plan to overthrow Loki in a real dramatic twist kind of a way at the end of this. Even to the surprise of Sif, I think it was handled so well. Dennis Camp has a real, like I said before, poetic approach to this book. It's all a giant poem. It fits so perfectly well. It takes a couple different reads to get through all the different details. If you're someone like me, doesn't catch everything on the first read, but it's a joy to do that every time. The artwork in the book does a great job of showcasing the different realms and characters involved, everything like that. It has a real grit to it, and I really enjoy that. So it's another great issue of Ultimates. Man, Dennis Camp is doing a fantastic job on this book. Make sure you're reading it. Let's go over to Storm issue number 7. This is a series that I picked up a couple of issues ago. Haven't read a lot of the earlier ones, but I'm trying to get caught back up and see what's going on in here. I think this book suffers from perspective issues, at least for me. There's a lot of cosmic beings. There's a lot of constants, whatever it might be, that are explored inside this book. And then we zoom out so far, it's kind of hard to relate everything together. Then we zoom all the way back in again down to a single character on a single rock floating through the cosmos. And it's like hard to like put all that in perspective. They do a little bit of that in here, even bringing back some older entities, beings, constants, whatever they might be from earlier runs in Marvel's history. I was kind of excited to see this like thing come back, but at the same time, I was a little bit eye-rolly, to be honest with you. But here we are here. Tony Stark is thrown into this book too. He's dealing with some kind of a threat in South America. There's some weather disturbances, things like that. So Aurora has to go in there and see what's going on. She, of course, meets some beings, and we're going to have a cool little team up with similar powers in subsequent issues. So Storm number 7 has a perspective lens to it that is interesting and not too familiar inside of Marvel books. But I'm still trying to figure out how to layer all that together, honestly, inside the story. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys are thinking about Storm number 7. Kind of similarly, we have Phoenix issue number 10 out as well. We have this new evolution of Jean Grey Phoenix. What does that mean to have this new upgraded power that the Phoenix has, and how does she use that power to take on this shadow threat that wants to invade the universe that they're in and all the other universes around? We somewhat unpack that inside of here. Of course, she's really dealing with what happens when anger and revenge takes over your soul, essentially. With this character that we were introduced to earlier on, she confronts all of that inside of here as well, trying to convert her back into the side of light. So that's really the story going on. Everything else around them is disposable bad guys here and there being thrown around. We have a ramp up of evil power as well that's threatening the galaxy and every other galaxy around. And we have the Phoenix doing whatever she can to contain all of that while delivering this ultimately more prosperous message to the reader and everybody in the story. I gotta say, it kind of fell flat for me, honestly. The art was just so chaotic and all over the place, especially in this issue, but it was a grand scheme, lots of things to consider, so it did have that going for it. We're wrapping things up in this issue, so if you haven't jumped in the Phoenix yet, maybe number 11 is a good place to jump on. If you have been reading this book, though, let me know if you're going to continue reading it down below. All right, continuing Marvel, we have Doctor Strange of Asgard issue number 2. Now, I liked issue number 1 a lot. I really enjoyed the artwork. I like the premise of it. Doctor Strange basically abandoning Earth because Doom is now the Sorcerer Supreme, going over to Asgard to level up on his Asgardian magic. But he has to figure out the ropes there, right? Like he has to know the right people, maybe become an apprentice for like the powerful magic users on Asgard, trying to reorient himself and all this stuff. Things don't exactly go according to plan. There's a murder in here. And so he becomes like the main suspect, but he has to keep it on the hush hush, on the down low. And that's where we focus on in here. And that's where it really falls apart, in my opinion. Like I said, he's trying to find some people that are powerful in Asgardian magic. He finds somebody, they end up being taken out. And now it becomes like this murder mystery book. He pushes things underneath the rug. I don't know, guys, like the story fell apart for me, honestly, from that point of view. And then the art kind of took a backseat as well in this one. I feel like there's a big downgrade between issue 1 and 2. I don't know. I don't exactly know what happened in this one. The story was strong, I thought, in issue number 1, fell apart in issue number 2 for me. Let me know if it did for you guys. Continuing Marvel, let's talk about Star Wars Jedi Knights issue number 2. Number 1 was great. Now, I don't really gravitate towards Star Wars books. I try a lot of them and they just don't seem to click with me. Maybe it's just like me being a grumpy older guy and having to deal with new Star Wars stuff. Who knows, right? But I jumped into Jedi Knights issue number 1. I thought it was pretty cool. A lot of familiar faces, interesting territory, familiar Jedi actions, I felt like inside of that issue. That's what I want. I want familiar faces and I want characters to act like how I think the characters would act in a Star Wars book. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm getting inside of Jedi Knights. In issue number 2, we have Yoda and his apprentice traveling to this planet. They're investigating something right now. There's a dark secret that these people ruling the planet have. They're genetically engineering some kind of monsters, something like that, but they're trying to cover it up right now. Can't pull one over on Yoda. So they're going under the hood, they're investigating some stuff, and inevitably there's a big conflict that ensues from there. So again, familiar characters doing things that I would expect them to be doing. That's what I want in a Star Wars book. That's what I'm getting right here. Jedi Knights issue number 2 is pretty solid. Let me know if you read it. Let's wrap up Marvel with ASM issue number 1, or rather 965. I don't know what the hell they're up to right there. Man, Kelly is back on this one. We have Pepe Larez on the art. JR does some of the stuff in towards the back in here too. And we have creative teams switching around depending on which part of the book you're in. I don't even know where to start with this book. So I will say maybe that Pepe Larez's artwork is something that I really, really enjoy. It was an artist that I really started paying attention to earlier on, really enjoy all of Rez's work, and I really like what I'm seeing inside of this book, especially from the different perspectives and color. I will say the back half of his contribution to this issue, much better than the front half. Writing style, though, I will say that I was very frustrated in the very beginning of this book with Peter basically trying to rebuild his life right now, going place to place, going through job interviews, and just going through that whole thing. He seems like a teenager. He seems like a child in this book, and I really didn't want to see him in this kind of situation. Now, I'm not reading ASM. I haven't read it since maybe the end of the Tombstone arc, so shame on me for not going into that and finishing that entire series, but I was jumping into this one hoping it would be a great place to jump in, and I don't exactly know that I got that. I couldn't help but get the feeling that the reasons why I fell off of the run to begin with are still here inside this issue. I'll probably keep reading it just to see if they course correct here, and I really, really enjoy the artwork though, so that's probably the main reason why I'll continue reading this book, but it's something just didn't click with me inside this one. What'd you guys think? ASM issue number 1, or rather 965. All right, let's go over to DC next. We have Absolute Batman issue number 7. Absolute cover right there too from Sienkiewicz, so make sure to check that one out. Closing off the other arc, we're going to start a new one right here. We have a new artist on this issue. I need to look and see if it's going to continue going forward a little bit, or if maybe this is just a little bit of a break for a couple of issues. We have Marcos Martin, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, doing the interiors in here, and you're going to notice that immediately when you open up this page right here. So this artistic style didn't really do it for me, to be honest, but we're going to keep reading it, seeing what's going on. Like I said, new arc right here. We're focusing on the Mr. Freeze character, what that means in this Absolute universe, what kind of cover-ups and what kind of technology is being used. You know, is it the same kind of thing we know today where he's trying to preserve his wife and bring her back, or is there another twist in here? We get to see what happens at the end of this book. Art-wise, I really did enjoy the coloring in here. There's some pretty cool moments where it's really bright and vibrant. It gives me that Javier Rodriguez vibe with like Zatanna and Absolute Martian Manhunter. So there are some cool moments in here with the coloring and everything, but I think overall, like, the story just didn't really do it for me. Even the little twists at the end with related to the Mr. Freeze character, I'll let you guys figure that out. I won't spoil that here for you, but I will say it didn't really give me a whole lot that I really enjoyed, to be honest. So Batman issue number 7, Absolute Batman number 7, kind of fell flat for me. What about you guys? All right, continuing DC. Man, I feel like I've been down on a lot of these books, but it's not going to stop yet, guys. So Fire and Ice, When Hell Freezes Over issue number 1. We got the Jeff Decal variant, which is the best thing about this book, I would say. I don't really have a lot of familiarity with Fire and Ice. I know, like, I was reading some of the Human Target stuff, so I have some familiarity there, but I will say as an average character, I just really don't know what's going on. This feels like an Archie comic gone bad, to be honest with you. We have these superheroes that used to be on the Justice League and all this cool stuff, you know, albeit they've been in and out of comic continuity for a little while, I think. They're going back to, like, barbershops and Smallville and having conversations about, like, you know, the struggles of wokeness and things like that, and having influencers come in and, like, ruin their days, and just having to deal with the fact that their powers were swapped because of the Amanda Waller event. This book did not do it for me whatsoever. It has an Archie feel to it. That's not like a bad thing. It's just something I didn't expect or want inside of this book. And I just was not ready to be like in the everyday life drama, sitting at kitchen tables, going to bars and things like that, having whatever kind of time they're having. I just wasn't ready for that, I don't think. You know, we have Zatanna showing up and doing some karaoke and stuff like that, even though, you know, inside of her book, she's dealing with a murder mystery of a coworker and jumping around realities and things like that, and having to deal with weird spectral beings and everything. But she has time for some karaoke and things like that inside of here, which is really weird in this sense. So I don't know, guys. Fire and Ice did not do it for me. What'd you guys think? All right, on a positive note, though, Batman Dark Patterns issue number 5. What, top 2, top 3 Batman books out right now? We have Batman and Robin Year 1 going on, and then we have this one too. It's a good time to be a Batman fan. There are a lot of options out there, so I definitely recommend checking this one out. Second arc here, this one's exploring a different version of Scarface in a way. What's he got going on right now? Like, what is he able to possess? He's actually taking control of an entire building and everybody inside of them. And he's just creating like this gang and this little mini world inside this building. And Batman has to infiltrate it because there's a cop being held hostage. And there's other casualties inside this building as well, like unwilling participants of like this mind control that he's able to put on them. So we're unpacking all that in this issue. The artwork is great. It's super strong. I love the coloring in here too. He's going all over the place. Hayden Sherman is doing a great job just building out this world, showing us how Batman is infiltrating the different floors and using all of his gadgets at the same time. Really love all of that stuff. Batman's having some really great interactions with people in the building, and they're showing him like their day-to-day perspective and how they're being controlled by all of this. And so he's having to deal with that. And of course, this mind control goes a step further, making other people do things they wouldn't normally do. And it's just really cool to see all of that play out. So Batman doesn't have all the answers in this book. He's trying to figure things out. He's in hostile territory right now, and he's got the odds stacked against him. So Batman Dark Patterns, this has been a spectacular read so far. This run, this newest arc, has been really solid as well. Make sure to check it out. Aquaman issue number 4 from Jeremy Adams is out as well. Solid issue, solid series so far, and great creative team on this book. I don't really have a lot of familiarity with Aquaman outside of being an ancillary character in team-up books, things like that. So I'm excited that a solo title has got my interest like this one. This whole thing started with him investigating what happened to Atlantis and with Mira and everything like that, all tied into Darkseid's absence and the Omega symbol. He's been sucked into a different realm right now, and he's having to figure out who's friends, who's enemies, things like that, and overcome like this dark tide prophecy that we've been exploring and unpacking in the last couple of issues. In the previous issue, he was abducted and he's held captive, so he has to figure out a way to escape all of that with the aid of some of the allies he made in the previous issues, some new weapons and things like that, and using some new abilities that he's been maturing over this run. Really cool showcase of powers in here. Great vibrant scenes as well. So Aquaman issue number 4, it's compelling, it's interesting, it's exciting, and I'm having a great time reading this one. Make sure to check it out. All right, let's go over to Image Comics now, specifically the Energon universe. We have Transformers issue number 19 out. We've been noticing a pattern right now. Maybe it's something I haven't perceived before, but a lot of these runs right now, they have a couple of issues where they have fill-in artists. This one is very much the same right here. So we have a separate story right here showcasing what Megatron has been up to and what has been going on with him, or maybe it happened in the past, something like that. There's some kind of a jump going on here where he's enslaved, he's forced into this battle arena situation, he's being taught how to like lose and how to overcome the odds inside of here, how to evolve, how to transform, and how to manipulate the people around him so he's able to do that. I'm sure this is like a formative time for Megatron right here, trying to showcase like his power set and seeing who he can trust, who he can't. The art is very bright and vibrant in here. It's in the same vein that you would expect from Daniel Warren Johnson or Jorge Corona, something like that, but it does have its own unique flair, which I didn't really mind it being like a flashback kind of a thing or whatever it might be. I didn't mind the art shift at all in here because, you know, it fit the bill, right? But, you know, at the end of the day, it's a filler issue. It's a backstory. It's providing more context to the overall run, which in the grand scheme of things will help out. But if you're like anxious to see what's happening next month to month in the current situation, this is a little bit of a step back. But, you know, we can argue about the need for those kinds of things to help build character development and story context, things like that. Really enjoyed this one. Nevertheless, issue number 19, Transformers, is out. Let me know if you read it. The Moon is Following Us, issue number 8. Speaking of Daniel Warren Johnson, of course, we have Riley Rosmo on this one, Mike Spicer on the colors. Another solid issue of Moon is Following Us right here. We had a great revelation in the previous issue about the father's dark backstory. We kind of resolved the mother's side of things and her resentment towards her family and how she overcame all of those odds, which help her level up in the current situation that she's in. We still haven't quite gotten there with the husband just yet because he's got some dark secrets to explore as well. But we have a rallying of forces right here, trying to take on the odds, trying to get our daughter back from these evil people right here. We do get some backstory on the guy that kind of brought us all into this situation to begin with, like what's at stake for him, a little bit of his backstory and how far he's gone now to get his daughter back or his child back. So you kind of align yourself with him in this weird way. It's like, yeah, you would do everything you can do. You've wronged so many people in the past getting to this point, and you're one more thing away from like getting what you want. So you can't stop now. It's like this train of malevolence just barreling forward, busting through all the gates. It's just you're too far in to turn back right now. So the message is relatable, I think, inside of here. Artwork is solid, just as always. Riley's doing a great job. Spicer's amazing on the artwork. And, very much like every single issue of Mood is Following Us, it has a shocking ending right here as well. So we have a couple of issues to figure out what we're gonna do from here, how we're gonna wrap things up. Issue number 8 is out. We have 2 more to go. Let me know what you guys' thoughts are on this whole series in general down below. Geiger issue number 13, Ghost Machine Universe. Awesome cover right here. Amazing story. There's not a bad issue in this entire run, even going back a couple of years when this whole adventure started. This is why it's like the book of the year right here, or one of the series of the year for sure. So we're getting some more backstory on Ashley. She's our new nuclear woman that Geiger has met. She's trying to control his powers, trying to educate him on like his control rods and his emotions and, really taking ownership for his past, things like that, typical therapy kinds of things. We get a little bit more on her backstory, which just shows us how like damaged and crazy she is and all the stuff that she's gone through. She has a very, very dark secret that she's hiding right now from Geiger. That's blown all out inside of this issue here. Geiger's trying to learn how to live in this new land, trying to control his powers, trying to assimilate with the people around him. We got Junkyard Joe doing the same thing, and they're kind of making amends as well. But what happens when the cavalry, the government, or whoever it is, finds out where he is and has a full frontal assault on this new compound right here? Very much like Walking Dead style. Whenever this guy finds a nice safe space, all of his baggage comes flying in eventually, right? So that's what we get inside of here. So if you want to see 2 nuclear people take on an army of people inside tanks and everything else, that's what you get inside of this issue. Artwork, I mean, do I have to show you? It's Gary Frank and Brad Anderson, man. It's spectacular. It's awesome. It's what you've known, what you love about this whole series on full display right here. Tons of action inside this book as well, and great revelations and shocking moments throughout the entire thing. An amazing cliffhanger as well. Geiger, one of the strongest books out. You gotta be reading it. Let me know if you are. All right, we're going to wrap it up with the silent missions. G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Jinx. This is the one-shotter issue number 1 right here. Dan Waters on the writing credits, even though there's no writing inside this book necessarily. And we have Danny on the cover and the interiors. If I see Danny on a cover and the interiors, it's an instant buy, especially if it's Dan Waters as well. Definitely recommend checking this one out. So if you like Danny's artwork, that pseudo Frank Miller in his heyday, Sin City, using negative space, real blocky, things like that kind of art, you're really going to enjoy this one. I think they're in the same vein. Jinx infiltrating some kind of a Cobra base right here, trying to sabotage it, set off some bombs, things like that, setting those charges, and she's on the run right now. So what's really cool is you have this like ticking clock thing going on at the very top, and it's basically counting down the pages when this bomb is going to explode. So you get to see how desperate things become page after page, right? You turn that page, we go from 8 to 9 or 9 to 8, and you have this repeating thing happening. Every page she runs into a new threat as the clock is ticking down. So like your blood pressure is rising, you're feeling that anxiety and everything there too, until it gets down to that final number right there, and we get to see what exactly happens there. So I would say it's a great book. There's lots of suspense, there's build up, action-packed. It's a silent missions, guys. There's nothing in here writing-wise, but you know exactly what's going on because it's like a ninja escape sabotage mission. You don't need words for that. You just need action. You get it in here. Amazing artwork. Let me know if you read it. All right, guys, that's all I read this week. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you read and what your favorite books were down below. While you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.